You know, from the perspective of logic and philosophy, you can always kind of judge how horrible something is by how much stupid people defend it. Like some guys like arrested down the street, not meaning me. Some guys arrested down the street and they interview them. It's like, oh well, he didn't kill too many people. Oh, that I remember some 10 years ago they interviewed this crazy guy's neighbors. Like, well, they only found 10 bodies in his basement. He was such a nice guy. It's not that bad. When someone actually is or group of people specifically are apologizing for something, that tells you, ooh, this thing sucks. The fact is, when it comes to a single card slot, the Nikon apologists, and I love Nikon. I have, 9 Nikon DSLRs, countless hundreds of Nikkor lenses, have given more money to Nikon over the years than any of you have. I can absolutely guarantee it. But I'm not going to kiss Nikon's ass for producing a crap camera. It is a first-generation mirrorless camera, and by God, it's got one card slot, inferior autofocus performance. People have been apologizing about this one card slot thing, and also Canon too, the Canon apologists and their EOSR failure. But at least the Z7 uses XQD cards, and of course it's actually got IBIS, which is useful for video photographers, videographers. People make all sorts of crazy apologies, and what these are fallacies. We'll say, it's one card slot. How often do they fail? Well, they call that anecdotal. It's like, well, no, my granddaddy drove a Model T car back in the day, and those things didn't have seat belts, but by God, he survived. It can't be that bad. What do you need seat belts for, you crazy asshole? This is the same sort of logical fallacy that these people came up with. Let's say, my ancient Nikon camera only had one card slot. I don't know what you're bitching about. It wasn't too bad back in the day. This is 2018. If you're going to charge $3,300 for a camera, you damn well better have a second card slot in there. This is the other stupid one, and this is called a false analogy. So my film cameras only had one card slot. You only had one film in there. Film is not a digital media recording device, you idiot. Film never suffered from data crashes. Data depolarization didn't suffer from bit rot and 10,000 other digital bugs. Film is film, and it's not to be compared to, my film camera only had one card slot and had one single can of film in there. Yeah, and cars, when they first came out, there was no such thing as seatbelts. And back in the 40s or 50s, they started mandating putting seatbelts inside cars because too many people were dying on the road. It's like the cops would. It started as speeds increased because the cars got really fast, really quick. People said, the cops are showing up to all these car wrecks where people were decapitated. The head was like 1,000 yards down the road. It literally cut someone's head off and then just continued to roll. Maybe we should stick some seatbelts in these goddamn vehicles. This is the same thing these single card slot people are trying to be apologists for. That's exactly what they're doing. These are the idiots that are apologizing for both Nikon Z6, Z7, and the Canon EOS R, which only have one card slot. These are the same people that will point to a one-eyed man. That guy's only got one eye. He can drive okay. 100% of digital is professionalism that's redundancy. Professionalism of digital photography is redundancy. And redundancy, when it comes to digital or data, is God. Redundancy is God. That's actually my motto that I think I created it. I never heard that anywhere else. Redundancy is God. I literally wrote the article for Apple.com on data redundancy and protecting your data. Professionalism in photography is redundancy, and redundancy is God. You need two card slots, interestingly enough, for the same reason you were born with two eyes, two ears, two nipples, two hands, and two testicles, if you're a guy, that is. Same reason. Redundancy. Apparently nature likes redundancy too. Two kidneys. Be nice if we had two hearts, right? If one failed, we'd always get another as a backup. We have that now. We call it a heart transplant. But it's not backup redundancy. That's what rich people do. They've always got like a heart and backup. That's a topic I wasn't going to discuss. I better not discuss that one any further. But the more someone apologizes for something, the more you should be suspect. We call this a a screaming beacon when it comes to logic and philosophy. Was hey, it's not that bad. This is no different. The people that are saying it's not that bad. It's got one card slot. These are the same people that are like the neighbors of like the serial killers. It's like they only found 10 bodies buried in his basement. He wasn't that bad. Yeah, so my question to you is, for the same price as a Nikon D850, do you really think that slow autofocusing worm first generation Nikon Z6 and Z7 with one card slot is worthy of your money? Because as I said in a prior video, DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, as far as photography is concerned, are jockeying for the exact same money. They're not two different markets. We got the DSLR. This is the big mistake everybody keeps making. The DSLR market over here, and we got the mirrorless market. No, they're one and the same thing. When it comes to photography, there's no such thing as mirrorless versus DSLR. There's superior camera versus inferior shit. That's the only thing there is. And of course, there's the wisdom or lack thereof to make a differentiation between choosing between the inferior and the superior. It's like, what am I going to spend my hard-earned money on? This new piece of crap with one card slot and inferior autofocus for the same money I could buy like the best DSLR ever made, Nikon D850. Because I guarantee you one thing, whether you agree with me or not, professional photographers out there, people that do it for a living, they need to get the shot. And they need not to have to worry about card failure. Yeah? And when their money is on the line, and it's their working job, and I don't mean a hobbyist photographer going out and taking pictures of his cats, yeah, or taking pictures out in the park, they need the camera to work and work reliably and have data redundancy. And they're not picking the Nikon Z7. The only people that keep chirping about how much awesome the EOS R are, there's a famous guy. His first name is Peter. Everybody keeps pointing me to his video, and I've watched that video like 5 times. He made this obnoxious, raunchy video that is just the most horrible fanboy commercial I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm going to get the EOS R as soon as I can get it. It's the best camera ever made. I love Canon. It's just a horrible video. It's I wonder how much Canon paid him to make that video. Honestly, I do. Everybody keeps pointing me to that. It's like, I've already watched it 5 times. The only reason I watched it 5 times is because it's so obnoxiously transparent. Insanely transparent. Canon's like, people aren't liking this camera too much. Let's take a famous YouTuber and see how much he can praise it, blow smoke up other people's skirts on what a great camera it is. Yeah, okay, whatever. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos, please click the link below. Or tell me to jump off a cliff, whatever makes you happy. I'm going to go to the grocery store and get some salad. I just got done taking some vitamin C. I need a coffee. A coffee and some salad. And then get back to writing. Yeah. I lead an exciting life. Have a nice day. Bye.